Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with my weekly reading update. This is for week number 36. So I have been vlogging all this week. I've been doing that for the last few weeks and I've really been enjoying it. So you will have known if you've been watching those vlogs, the books that I did finish, but I of course didn't give reviews for them. So that's what I'm doing here. Like I say in those videos, I like to keep all my reviews condensed into one place for people who just want to hear my thoughts on the books that I have read. So I'm going to share with you the books that I finished, obviously. I'm going to share with you what I'm currently reading. And then I'm going to share with you the extra videos, if you will, that are coming up on the channel in the week to come. So let's jump in and get started, guys. I finished 4 books this week. It was a really great reading week. I'm very happy with that considering I started a brand new job and, so yeah, very, very happy with that. So the first book, and these are all September finishes, which is great, was Deserts, Driving, and Derelicts by Tonya Kappes. I gave this book 4 stars. It is the second book in the Campers and Criminals Cozy Mystery series, and I did listen to it on audio, and it was narrated by Joanna Parker. She does all of the narration for all of the Camper and Criminals books. So this is a cozy mystery series. It is second in the series. Basically, the series itself is about a woman by the name of Mae West, not that Mae West, a different Mae West, who married into money. And then her husband, turns out he was doing a Ponzi scheme, and everything that they had was not actually theirs. The FBI came in, he ended up going to jail, but then he got out of jail, and in the first book, Beaches, Bungalows, and Burglaries, he's found dead in the lake. And, Mae kind of tries to find out what happened to him. So then this story, it's the next in the series, of course, and Mae is now running this campground called Happy Trails in Kentucky. It's just outside the Daniel Boone National Park, and someone ends up dead, and Mae and her friends in the laundry club, I love it, they're trying to figure out the whodunit. This is such a great series. If you are a fan of cozy mysteries, these are just delightful. I love the small town trailer park and, campground aspect of it. I love the town itself. Mae, of course, runs her campground, outside of town, but the town itself is delightful of Happy Trails. Happy Trails? Normal. The town's name is Normal, Kentucky, where nothing is ever normal, as the slogan is. But yeah, you see a great group of characters in this. The books are not terribly long. They're around 200 pages, I want to say. They're all available on Kindle Unlimited. And Hoopla or your library probably has all the audiobooks. They're just delightful. Absolutely delightful. I highly recommend. The next book that I finished was The Truth About Stacey by Ann M. Martin. This is the 3rd book in the Babysitters Club series. This is, of course, a read for me. I have read this book gosh knows how many times now. Oh, my bookmark's still in it. I can take that out. So yeah, I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. The Truth About Stacey. This one is a interesting one I think it was really great at the time for any child that may have had some sort of a medical condition and how you feel not being in control of that situation. So in this book, we find out in the first book that Stacey is a diabetic. She is an insulin-dependent diabetic. So she has to be extra, extra careful. And her parents have kind of taken on this role that they are going to, they're going to find a cure, essentially. They're going to get a cure, And I'm not saying that her parents are silly for that. And I understand the need to want what's best for your child. But poor Stacey is being dragged from doctor to doctor to doctor, and every doctor has a different opinion, changing this, changing that, and poor Stacey doesn't feel in control. And, I fortunately did not have that growing up. I'm not diabetic, but with my cardiac condition, my parents were like, this is what the doctors want, this is what we're going to do. They didn't try to find that miracle cure, they, and I think because of that, I had a very normal childhood. Nothing was different for me than it was for anybody else. I went to school, I had friends, I went to birthday parties, I danced, I did all the things that normal kids would do. It's just that once a year, I had to go see the doctors and have a few tests done, and I had to take a bit of medication. So, and of course, I'd had this since a child. So, Stacey, I don't think she was diagnosed till she was 11 or 12. So that's a bit of a different situation as well. But it was very interesting reading this to see what other kids may have gone through that I did not go through, and the way that she's coddled by her parents, and even, going to school, they are concerned about her. They don't like the idea of her going to sleepovers and things like that, like, because they're not in control. And Stacey in this one basically is like, hey, I need to be in control. I need to have some say in this. This is my body. And, good for her. I thought this was a great, great book. And until I was an adult rereading it, it's something that I didn't think about. But now as an adult reading it, I'm just like, yeah, I can see how kids who have, disabilities or medical conditions or what have you could really relate to Stacey and what she's gone through. So yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot. 4 stars. The next one was my 5-star read of the week, you guys. Oh my gosh. So I'm not going to talk about this one very much, just because, it's a thriller. None of this is true by Lisa Jewell. I can't say anything about this. I can't, other than the fact that this was a 5-star read. I listened to it on audio, and it was narrated mostly by Nicola Walker and Louisa Beverly, or Brealey, I think. There's also a full cast narration on this one as well. So this is basically about a woman who does a podcast about a woman changing her life, about another woman changing her life, and that's all I can tell you. I literally cannot say anything else because it would absolutely ruin this book. There is so much going on in here. This was so compelling, I could not put it down. It was a book that I was actually thinking about long after. Like, I'd be listening to it or reading it at night, and then I'd go to bed, and I'd start to have all these theories in my head of, oh, what if it's this? What if it's that? What if it's this? What if it's that? I finished this in about 2 or 3 days, and it's like a 300, 400-page book. So all I knew going in was that it was the new Lisa Jewell. That's all I wanted to know. I loved this, you guys. It was a wild ride from start to finish, and that's all I want to say. And if you are a thriller reader, borrow the audiobook from me. The one thing I do want to say is that I feel like this book was perfect on audio. I know audio is not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. If you are a read with your eyes reader and that's how you're going to consume this book, that's fantastic. But if you're an audiobook reader, you absolutely need to pick this one up on audio, because you've got the dual narration of the 2 main females, but then because it's done in a podcast form, you've got like these snippets from other people, and you hear like the static, like as if you were tuning a radio station, right? Whereas, this was from the podcast episode, blah, 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 so it was really, really good, and I think it lends itself to that. I almost want to say this was written as an audiobook. This was written to be an audiobook. It was fantastic, you guys. Absolutely fantastic. Give it a read. Very, very happy with that one. And then the last book that I finished this week was another delightful book, and that was Just Don't Fall by Emma St. Clair. I gave this book 4.5 stars. It is the first book in the Sweater Weather series. So this is a 7-book series. There is a new book coming out every single week. It started on August 31st and will run until October. These are all available on Kindle Unlimited. Some of them will be available on audio, but I have no idea which ones. Out of the first 4, none of them that I could see are going to be available on audio, but these are fantastic. These are sweet romances. So if you are a sweet romance fan, you're going to really enjoy this one. So this is the story of Parker and Logan. And they knew each other when they were younger. Logan was best friends with Parker's brother, Brandon, and both the boys played hockey. This is a hockey romance. And so anyway, years have passed. Logan left town, joined the NHL, and then he had an injury, and then he got into a fight with a fan in a store. So he's been bumped down to the AHL. I don't know what that stands for. I'm not really a hockey person. But anyway, to essentially a minor league team. And it's back in his hometown of Harvest Hollow. And that is, I don't remember what state it's in, but I think it's in the Appalachians somewhere. So it's the perfect fall town without it being in New England. You know what I mean? So very Gilmore Girls-esque. I know Gilmore Girls has now become synonymous with fall. I don't understand why. I did watch Gilmore Girls like for the first season or 2, but then I really did lose interest. But I think the reason is because Stars Hollow, which is where Gilmore Girls takes place, always does it's great in fall. Like, if you watch the show, it started in the fall, and, you know, with, I just feel like the very much fall vibes when that was happening. So anyway, back to the book. So Parker and Logan meet back up again. Parker actually does the media relations, if you will, for this team, the Appalachians team that Logan is now playing for, and the two of them having to work together. He falls for her almost right away. It's super, super cute, you know, or no, let me rephrase that. She has had a crush on him since they were kids, and he's not too sure, but then they get into this fake dating relationship, and it's a thing. Guys, this book was just so cute. So the entire Sweater Weather series all takes place in the same town, and they're all written by different authors, and I'm super excited to get to the second book. So you do meet some of the characters as you go through the book, like Felix, which is one of the guys that Logan plays hockey with. You meet him in the first book, and I know he's got a book coming out later. So, you know, you do kind of meet some of the other people in the town. And I think as you read the book, I think they take place in the timeline. Like, they follow each other in a timeline. So you get maybe more and more fall as it goes. I don't know. I'm suspecting. Guys, this was so cute. If you are a lover of autumn, if you love small town romance, if you love sweet romance, give this one a shot and read the rest of the series as well. My goal is to read through all of them, you know, this year. So I hope to get to the first 4 this month. We shall see, because my eyeball reading has slowed down a little bit, but I'm hoping that's going to pick back up soon. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. So that is everything that I read this week, my friends. So let me get into what I am currently reading. So my current throwback book, it's just because it's sitting right here on top, is Murder on Ice by Carolyn Keene, which is the 3rd book in the Nancy Drew Files series, Case Files series. This is the one series published in the 80s. So Nancy is in at a ski resort, and there is a potential murderer on the loose. So yeah, this one has been a lot of fun. I'm about halfway through it right now. My current audiobook, but I do have it as an ebook copy as well, because I was doing a bit of reading on it. When I'm not in my car or something like that, I tend to want to read the book. And I was doing that with the Lisa Jewell as well, and the Campers and Criminals book. But the majority of the book I am listening to on audio. So my current book available on audio, I should say it that way, is A Spy in the House by Y.S. Lee. This was a last minute pick. Oh, so I didn't mention that. So I did DNF a book this week. Let me jump back and get to that. So the book I did DNF this week was Black Ice by Anne Stewart. I got about an hour into this on audio, and I tapped out and said, no, I'm done. So this whole book was about this woman who has been sent to this place, like she's been hired to go to this chateau, if you will, for 3 or 4 days to be an interpreter. So there are people there who only speak English, some who only speak French, some who speak German, Italian. So our main character, I think her name was Chloe, she speaks all these different languages, and she just assumes these are just businessmen, and they're just looking to do a deal, and she's there to interpret, right? Well, it turns out they're an international ring of spies, because of course they are. So that was fine. I'm like, I can get into this. This, you know. So at the beginning of the book, I was kind of a little hesitant. I wasn't too sure my thoughts on it. I forgot how explicit Anne Stewart could be, which isn't something that bothers me, but I just kind of was like, oh yeah, okay, it's Anne Stewart. But then I got to a scene in the book about an hour in where our male lead suspects this Chloe woman of being a spy herself, even though she's just an interpreter. So what he does is he doctors her drink so she passes out and goes to sleep. She's in her room, but she goes into a heavy, deep sleep. So my first thought on this was like, I don't know about that so much. So then he starts looking through her room, trying to find like spy stuff, I guess, you know, like a fake passport or something to give her away, and obviously can't find anything. So then as she's laying in the bed, he strips her down and stares at her. And I was like, nope, done, close the book. That's sexual assault, and I'm not having any part of this. So I DNF the book at that point. And this is not a soft DNF, this is a hard DNF. I will not be finishing this book. I will not be finishing any of the books in this series. I mean, if you're a fan of Anne Stewart, you know, I don't know, each to their own. This is a slightly older book, but I read her House of Rowan series, and I remember it also really pushed the envelope with a lot of things, and that was a historical romance series. So she does tend to write on the darker aspect of romance, which is fine. I know there's a lot of people who like that, but that book was just not for me. So back to my currently reading. So this one I picked up on a whim. I just kind of did a search on Goodreads for spy romance, and I found this one, and it's a young adult historical mystery. So it's about our main character named Mary, who was rescued from the gallows. She was going to be hung for burglary, essentially. And she's rescued and brought to this school for girls. And she's taught, and now it's a number of years later, she's 17. And it turns out that this school is actually like a spy ring. So she's being sent to be a companion for this girl at this very lavish estate. And the father is being investigated for smuggling or for stealing artifacts from like India and stuff like that. So I'm about 30% of the way through this one. It's narrated on audio by Justine Irie, which I absolutely adore. So yeah, I am really liking this one very, very much, you guys. And you'll hopefully hear my full review on it next week. And the last book that I am reading, my not available on audiobook, is The Trouble with Little Secrets by Josh Wood. This is a banging stuff around here. This is a Harlequin desire novel, and this is a secret baby trope story. This is the third in a series. I did not read the first two, but I think the series revolves around a family. But the first two books were about the two brothers of the male lead in this book. So the male lead's name is Jack, and her name is Peyton, and they had a night together a year and a half ago, and then she ended up getting pregnant. She never told him. Now she's back in town, and he's found out, and there's this whole thing with the grandmother, with Jack's grandmother. She's being blackmailed, and it's very Dynasty-esque with all that very wealthy family traumas, family issues. This series is the Dynasties. It's one of the Dynasties, and that's a line that's been going through the Desire line for many, many, many years, which essentially just follows these very well-to-do families, you know. So this is the Dynasties, and I can't remember the Connollys or something like that, I can't remember what the sub-series is, but I'll talk more about this one next week. But I'm, again, about 30 to 40% of the way through this one. It's reading very quickly, and I am very much enjoying it. So that's everything that I'm currently reading and everything that I've read. So what's coming up on the channel this week, my friends? So vlogs again every day, as I've been doing. I am loving doing them. You guys really seem to be enjoying them. So I'm going to continue doing them. On Monday, so tomorrow, because I'm filming this on Sunday, and this will go up on Sunday, I have a very, very special announcement for a readathon that I am hosting in October. So stay tuned for that video tomorrow. On Wednesday is going to be live reading sprints on my channel. If you want to join in and participate in the comments, if you just want to lurk, that's absolutely fine. You do not have to talk in the comments. But if you want to, I would love to hear from you just to say, hi, I'm watching, this is what I'm reading. I think that is fantastic. So that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I know a lot of you are, it was unfortunate that I couldn't do the Saturdays anymore because Saturdays are just not working for me. But I do have some time off in October. So what I was thinking is that I might do some midday sprints on a couple of the days that I'm off in October to let the rest of you who are in other parts of the world join in as well. So stay tuned for that coming up in about a month or so. I know it's a little bit of a ways away, but yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, live reading sprint 7 p.m. Eastern Standard on Wednesday. And then on Friday will be my announcement for this month's page count reading challenge, which will be happening at the very end of September. So stay tuned for that as well. Anyway, guys, that is it for this video today. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below. Have you read any of the books that I talked about, or are any of them now on your list? For example, the Lisa Jewell book. Do let me know. And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.